Hiya folks, welcome to the show. The wait is finally over as today we are back with brand new Amphibia episodes. Now, I am a few weeks late to getting to these for reasons. So, welcome to me getting caught back up with Amphibia Season 2, starting with episode 12, Night Drivers and Return to Wartwood. I am so excited to return to what I guess is now my favourite Disney show currently airing. But don't worry, one of our most cherished traditions with the Ducktales reactions still lives on, as I have been spoiled on pretty much everything. If you haven't seen any of the latest episodes yet, I would advise skipping forward 15 to 20 seconds. I know the backstory of what happened to Sprig and Polly's parents. I've seen a few very emotional screenshots from after the rain, as well as some quite disturbing images of Marcy from, I'm assuming, the first temple, which I really hope is just a joke. I know that General Yunnan appears again, and that the end of the first temple will reveal the series' endgame villain. Because no matter what I try and filter on Twitter, it always shows me spoilers. And don't even get me started on YouTube thumbnails. I'm sure those scenes are still going to hit really hard when they do happen, but I can't really promise that I'm going to give the reactions that I'm sure a lot of you are looking for certain moments. If you happen to be new around here, feel free to subscribe because we are so close to hitting 1,000 and that is just insane to me. Alright, that's all I have to say, so let's jump right in. Okay, here we go. Season 3, Episode 12, Night Drivers and Return to Wartwood. In 3, 2, 1. Night Drivers, here we go. Hello there, Polly. Are you gonna get legs before the end of this season?
Hanging out with Ivy.
But I've even heard folks tell of evil spirits wandering these parts. Real spookums and such. Seen any myself, of course, but you know, could happen.
Knowing this show, it probably will. I'm still traumatized by the sleepover to end all sleepovers.
What in the world could be so dangerous out there that we haven't lived through already? I've been eaten 8 times, Sprig. 8 times.
I sort of look forward to it now.
Salvador Dali! Salvador Dali! Oh! I just outed myself as even more of a nerd, didn't I?
Bugs? Our yogurt doesn't have any bugs.
Did you say no bugs?
Of course Anne would dream about this.
Oh, I'm afraid we only have one flavor here now.
That was some really good animation for a second.
There's no way we can dodge a couple of lil pebbles.
I know they're children, but
Well, that's a big rock.
common sense! Common sense goes a long way. Only this show. And maybe the Owl House.
Hey there, mister. Like that hat. Anything we can help you with today?
I can see why this show got nominated for an Emmy in character design.
What do you even think those things even are?
I don't have the foggiest idea.
Oh, terrible puns.
Crazy stuff. Oh, hey, wait a second.
Bess is just chilling. She's living her best life.
Don't make eye contact. Too late.
What is with all the facial expressions of this episode?
Where's the hitchhiker? Did we lose him?
Definitely. There's no way he could follow us.
In front of you.
Hey, did you just get a choke?
Or behind you. That has to be a SpongeBob reference.
Holly, you impaled?
No, not yet.
It's gonna be weird when she finally does get legs.
Look where we are. The valley. We did it.
I mean, we already saw it in the shut-in, but it's going to be so emotional getting back to it. So let's just pretend that we haven't seen this place in almost a year.
There's the path we were on. And there's the path he wanted us to use. Oh, it looks
this one slide.
Oh,
Say, Aunt.
Found Family Frog show. You. What are you? Here we go.
You feel that humidity, Ann?
A pinch.
Hey, I know that irritating voice.
Oh, Mrs. Croker. Maddie.
Hey, folks!
Oh, Sylvie.
Where's Ivy?
Oh, she said she had something more important to do.
More important?
Something about it.
Oh my god, they're bringing the snail she got in Hopping Mall.
We hid the list in a special place so we wouldn't forget. And then we forgot it.
Lying will only make it worse. I feel like we've learned that lesson by now.
I mean, you've learned that lesson.
Fine. I'll do it for Sprivey. Letting that ship sink.
Me neither, Anne. Me neither.
Bye, Chuck. Thanks for watching the house, Chuck. I grew tulips.
It looks beautiful.
We all okay with using ancient eldritch magics?
Sure, why not?
I'd be mad if we did it.
I mean, you've done worse. Children of the Spore ring a bell.
Barely got out of the Ant Queen's stomach alive. I'm still coughing up acid.
I've missed them all. I've missed them all so much. As always, nice monster design. Presents.
Uh-oh.
I can't believe it's finally my turn to say this, but told you so! Boom!
It's been a long time coming, Anne.
I'm Lago.
Don't consider me provoked.
Let's spatchcock!
She's got the sword. She's got the sword.
Wait, who knows what this thing can do?
That. It can do that.
Oh my god! Oh, wait. Nice! Using Toadie's stone body as a shield.
Wait, he's stone? Chickalisk formation!
We have a formation for this?
We have a formation for everything! Come on, Ann!
It's a shame.
Typical planters, giant monsters, property damage, putting the entire town in danger. I gotta admit, I missed it.
Oh.
Things have been really boring without you four causing mayhem and learning emotional lessons.
Wait.
You can make it up to me by finally taking me on a date. Mwah.
Same, man.
We're
Same.
done here.
Are we gonna get a new outro? Because, like, we got a new outro while they were in Newtopia, so now that we're back in Wartwood, are we gonna get a new outro after this episode? That was just really fun. You know. Wasn't as like a huge like emotional return I was expecting, but I mean, it was Amphibia. It was hilarious, morbid, hilariously morbid. I'm so excited that even though we already saw it in the shut-in, but I'm so excited we're finally back in Wartwood and we're just going to get to see all the Season 1 side characters again because I have missed them so much. But, yeah, I will be back with a review. Well, it's been a while, so let's get right back into it with Night Drivers. This was mostly just a fun Sprig and Polly adventure with the to-be-expected creative, if disturbing, visuals. The episode opens with us learning the planters are only one night away from returning to the valley, as Hop Pop and Ann decide they're too exhausted to keep going and settle in to rest for the night, despite Sprig and Polly's protest. Hop Pop tells them that they haven't read Bessie's manual, so neither of them are allowed to drive. So of course they immediately start driving. Eventually they come across this creepy hitchhiker who can't seem to take a hint. And after some shenanigans, they realise the guy was just stopping them from driving off a cliff, and is actually the ghost of a frog who used to guide travellers out of danger. Hop Pop and Ann wake up, and seeing how the two of them have already learned their lesson in the form of some good old-fashioned childhood trauma, set them back on the wagon and continue driving towards Wartwood, unaware their unknown mechanical stalker is sort of close behind. I forgot how easy it was recapping 11-minute episodes. Okay, let's quickly go over some of the most noteworthy aspects. Hop Pop and Ann's dreams were undoubtedly the highlights of the episode. From Hop Pop turning the nightmarish Salvador Dali world into a fun kind of hell, and Ann remembering there are far worse things than ice cream with bugs in them. Both of them were so visually unique and provided some amazing reactions from the characters, but I have to say Hop Pop's definitely wins out for me. As I mentioned, Amphibia was recently nominated for an Annie Award for character design, along with the Owl House. And once more, this show has proven it can design the best nightmare fuel in all of animation. I loved the design of Zechariah Nettles, and just how much mileage the team were able to get from that one expression. This show does supernatural elements like no other, and this episode was no exception. But I also really enjoyed the atmosphere from the backgrounds and exploring this chasm and all the weird creatures Sprig and Polly encountered during the night drive. This series just continues to outdo itself in the visual department. Night Drivers was a really enjoyable episode that offered us another great Sprig and Polly team up, a bunch of memorable creatures, and a few really energetic sequences. It was your standard Amphibia, but I mean, hey, it's standard Amphibia. Return to Wartwood, but not really, because rather than doing the sensible thing and airing the show in order, Disney decided to do not that, was a really great episode that brought us right back to season 1 in both its cast and structure. Since it's all about the planters doing something wrong, going to great lengths to hide the fact, which ends up putting the town in danger until they finally come clean and learn something about family or sharing or whatever. With the planters now so close to home, Sprig decides to start singing, as I once again eagerly await the musical episode of this series that we'll never get, despite the fact the entire cast are talented singers. His singing catches the attention of Mrs. Croker, who recognises that irritating voice and alerts the town the planters are back, as we get a heartwarming reunion between the planters and townspeople. They have the idea to hold a gathering at Stumpy's restaurant where the family can give out the gifts from the town's wish list. Turns out, as they were leaving, Hop Pop and Polly took a list of various things the townspeople wanted from Newtopia.
We hid the list in a special place so we wouldn't forget. And then we forgot it.
What?
Hop Pop decides the most healthy course of action is to bury this, which I guess is his go-to action for all of life's problems. To which Ann responds by reminding them how many times they've had to learn that lying only makes things worse, demonstrating once again how Ann has had such a natural progression from the first episode up until now, and how masterful this show is at subtle character development. However, common sense has no place in this world, so the family decides to summon a monster to destroy some fake presents. Thankfully, this is a monster that doesn't attack unless provoked. Too bad this town is very good at provoking things. After a really great action scene involving petrification, the beast gets offended and leaves as the planters come clean about the whole thing. Naturally, the town forgives them, saying how boring things have gotten without them, as the episode ends with Sprig and Ivy sort of agreeing to go on their first date, as both Ann and the audience have a cuteness overload. It was wonderful seeing all the supporting cast from season 1 again, and it didn't take long for the show to settle right back into its roots, telling a small but emotionally impactful story that builds upon the characters. I have really missed seeing moments where the whole town works together, and I hope from this point on they have a large role going forward. We are now over halfway through the show's run, and I really don't want to see these characters get dropped again when we approach the end game. The highlight of this episode is of course the Chickless, who, upon having yet another amazing monster design, provided some of the best laughs with its subtitles. I especially love how they don't actually defeat it, but instead it gets so offended by the Chickless formation it just dips out. It feels like this character was just a one-time thing, but this show never forgets anything, so there's always a chance it could appear again, and of course I'd be down for that. While once the novelty of finally seeing all these characters again after almost a year but not really has worn off, I'm sure I probably won't be putting this in any top 10 episode lists. But Return to Wartwood was a great episode that gave me a lot of nostalgia for season 1, some visually creative moments, and a lot of really great jokes.
Nice! Using Toadie's stone body as a shield.
Wait, he's stone?
Both these episodes were really nice, relaxing stories that bring us home to Wartwood and don't offer a lot of complexities. But don't get used to it, because next time we'll be taking a look at Ivy on the Run and the much long anticipated After the Rain. Thanks for watching, folks. See you real soon.